Good evening everyone and welcome to TTL F1 League 2. This is the Challenge Cup event. The season is officially over, but we've still got one more event to crown a piece of silverware for one of these drivers out on track tonight. Of course, it was Mashiro taking the Drivers' Championship, McLaren wrapping up the Constructors. Are they able to continue their good form tonight? We'll just have to wait and see. I'm James Head, going to be taking to the stream as always, and it wouldn't be a stream, a TTL F1 League 2 stream without them. Joining me in the commentary box, as always, is Mr. Paco Suarez. Paco, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. Glad to be here. Hoping that drivers can actually give us, a good show out on track, because oh my god, 100% race, that's way long. So I hope we can actually, have good action and that we can enjoy a good closing, to the season.
Well, it is 52 laps that the drivers have got to do, but honestly, I think last night, commentating alongside Kieran, it flew by quite quick, and hopefully we're going to see the same tonight. Obviously, it was a changeable race where we had dry to wet and then back to dry within the last 6 or 7 laps of the race. What are your expectations coming into tonight, and how do the drivers prepare mentally for a 100% race, which is what, nigh on an hour and a half's racing?
Well, definitely, I think that the key is, for 100% race is to just keep calm, be constant. Do not hurry, on the moves you do, and just wait, have patience. And if you do all that, probably you'll do well.
Yeah, I think honestly it is going to be fantastic racing out on track tonight, and hopefully we do get a good attendance. There's only 10 drivers here currently, so everyone would be scoring points at this stage. Obviously Mashiro winning the championship, and looking back at the races this season as well, back in Britain it was Maximus that took the win. Maximus is here tonight. Mashiro on that day had his worst result of the season, or one of his worst results of the season, back down in 6th position. Can Mashiro right the wrongs of Britain earlier on in the season?
It's gonna be interesting. Honestly, if Maith, was here, I would actually, and I'm not joking, I would actually put Maith as a favorite, to actually be on a potential win or at least a podium. But as he has retired after the events, he has suffered. I think that the most favorite to win today is probably Mashiro, and that probably he will do well because it's what he has been doing the whole season, and I think he has been doing great. So why not, having another win?
Yeah, looking through the comments that are coming through as well, Maze has literally just popped up in the comments section there. Probably heard him being spoke about by you, so that's why he's just came into the comment section there. And Storm coming in as well, saying hopefully he can have a full-on battle with Key tonight. That'll be excellent if that happens. Of course, going back to Russia back last season, where Storm and Key, on numerous occasions as well last season, where they had tremendous battles. I think Storm and Key could be treating us once again to one of those legendary battles that they both usually like to do here in TTL F1 League 2. Just to confirm the standings, by the way, the top 3 from the drivers' standings, Mashiro won on 211 points. He wrapped up the championship with 2 races to go. Key finished in 2nd on 146 points, and Hades stole 3rd from Storm on 130 points. It was only a 7 points gap in the end, but Hades nicking 3rd from Storm. Hades here tonight could be in with a chance, possibly, to outscore him once again.
Oof, it's gonna be interesting. Both Norwegians, are pretty similar. So it will actually be an interesting battle on track that we'll have to watch out, as we can see drivers readying up, and it seems like there are only gonna be 10 drivers on track. So let's hope they can give us some good action.
Yeah, I know Tom and YWR Storm mentioned, I think they were on their way, so hopefully they can join within the one-shot qualifying session that will precede the racing out on track tonight. Of course, the one-shot qualifying session is one of the mainstays, I think, going forward. Of course, we normally are used to short qualifying. obviously, this track, I think we had about 15 drivers last night, 13 drivers if I'm not mistaken, and only 7 set valid laps. Are we expecting the same again? Obviously, with a reduced field, are we expecting the same again?
It's an interesting question. Actually, I don't have an answer for it, but I hope, you know, numbers are not everything. That's my in what I believe today. So let's hope that being less people doesn't mean that they don't, you know, give us a crap show. You know, let's hope for a good race.
Well, I think these 10 drivers are probably the 10 cleanest ones, I would arguably say, within the season. Hopefully we're going to be seeing them out on track. Nobody has readied up for a setup just yet, so I think we're just waiting on players to join. Unless you're... Yeah, Mashiro's just readied up there. I thought we were having a bit of a glitch within the lobby. But everyone now beginning to ready up. Beautiful blue skies here at Silverstone. Obviously these guys are going to be going on the... What is it? The Ultra Softs, is it? No, that's going well back in the day for Formula 1. What's a Commentators? Is it Super Softs, I think these guys go on?
No, it's a soft, medium,
Softs,
hards. Yeah, I mean, we have like the old nomenclature, you know, that we used to have back in 2016, you know, until they suddenly put a lot of names, weird names.
But we go on board then with YWR Hades, and he's now towards turn 1. Through Farm, and then through Abbey, through turns 1 and 2, and then into the village section at turn 3. Famously where Hamilton got spun by Vettel back in 2018. Hades now through the loop. Yes, that is called the loop at turn 4. And then through Aintree, a very good mainstay as they join the international circuit. Opens up the DRS. Down the Wellington straight he comes. He's one of the top 3 guys at the minute with Pariah and Key well up there early on. And a 27.3 through the first sector for Hades as he through Brooklands. And now through Luffield. Very tight twisting corner, very low third gear. Trying to maximise the run on exit. And Hades has definitely managed that and nearly gets ahead of Key. Bit of a change up in the strategy as well. Looking at a couple of the guys on medium Commentators, that suggests to me possibly that these guys could be going for the longer stint. We'll speak about the tyre strategy in just a while. But he's gone through Cops, now and towards Maggots and Beckett's for Hades. Very nice and neat through there. Catches the curb very nicely through the second half of Beckett's. And looking very good through Chapel. And now 103.1. This is looking actually a relatively quick lap time here on one-shot qualifying. He's now in towards Stowe through turn 15 and then through Vale and into Club. Passelt has retired from the session. Tom has joined within qualifying. That's good to see. So Tom will be joining us for the race. Hades now through the Club chicane through 16, 17 and then through turn 18. And Hades, I think, is just about going to be on top of Rizzy. Key just across the line and it's about 300ths of a second separating. It's Key on top from Hades in second. Quite a few disqualifications. We'll run you through the full grid order of the 10 drivers that qualified in just a second. But again, I think we had about 6 or 7 valid lap times there. In fact, we had 8 valid lap times. And it's Key on top by 300ths of a second from Hades in second. Pariah, the 2 Norwegians, second and third in the end for the Toro Rossos. And McLaren with Mashiro in fourth as well. 3.5 tenths separating the top 4. A 10th separating the top 3. Storm in fifth. Maximus in sixth. Top 6 separated by less than 6 tenths of a second. Mashiro on mediums as well. Interesting to note. Charlie in 7th, Conti in 8th, Jeffrey and Passelt both getting disqualified, both getting invalidations on their lap. Tom has rejoined. Hopefully his car will be on the grid. I'm not so sure though, but Key taking it on top. McLaren against Toro Rosso again. We could be in for a right treat.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been giving us good battles during the whole season. Why not having it today as well? For sure. I think probably Mashiro will be, you know, on a higher level, but probably Key and Hades and Pariah and probably Storm, they will be fighting for the whole race. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic to see. Obviously, if one driver pulls away from the beginning of the race, don't expect it to be, because I think we saw last night in TTL F1 League 1, the Challenge Cup event, where we had 6 or 7 drivers separated by about 5 seconds, about a third of the way into the race, which I think was phenomenal. And obviously the guys on a set of softs will have to pit in earlier than the guys on a set of mediums. So let's see what strategy everyone is on. Of course, I think the top 10 being here, they've all had to qualify on the same compound of tyres, no matter if they got an invalid lap or not. Key on softs, Hades on softs, Pariah on softs, Storm and Maximus as well. Just hearing if I've got game sound. I have got game sound. And quite a few on the mediums. Mashiro, interestingly, in 4th. Charlie, Conti and Jeffrey being the exception rather than the rule as well on a set of mediums. But how do you see the tyre strategy planning out? With it being a 52-lap race, how do you see this planning out for the guys?
Well, I mean, on a 52% race, it's almost the same as in a 50% race. You know, you start on softs, then you go on mediums. But we can see, well, yeah, some drivers, you know, like Mashiro, Charlie, Conti, and Jeffrey, starting on the mediums. So I'm quite interesting on the strategical, because you will have a difficult beginning. But in the second stint, it could actually be exciting, you know, to see them recovering places. So quite excited to see how it plans out. But yeah, clear one stop with soft to mediums or medium to softs.
Well, only 10 drivers here for the race, which is a bit of a shame, I think. Obviously, we're coming towards the end of the game cycle and towards the end of the season as well. But surely there could have been a little bit more of an attendance, I think, for a 100% race. Obviously, the mentality is going to be a big factor here for the guys. Looking at the tyre strategies as well, obviously they're not going to pop up on your screen, so I'll just read them out. From a set of softs, you should see the pit window be around lap 16 to around lap 22. Possibly. We saw a couple of pit stops happening earlier in the race, so that's why I've changed up the softs to medium strategy. Mediums to softs as well will be quite different. It'll probably be around the halfway stage when these guys start to pit in, from lap 1 to about lap 28 to 32 for the mediums, and then they go on to a set of softs. Paco, what's your top 3? You've probably seen it coming from a mile off.
I need to think quickly, but I'm gonna put Mashiro, then I'm gonna put Hades, and I'm gonna put Storm in the 3rd place.
I'm gonna go Mashiro, Storm, Key, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. I think they're just gonna try and dominate this race. Here we go then. The last Challenge Cup event is about to begin. The end of an era is about to begin here in TTL F1 League 2. And it's lights out and away we go. Nobody spun off the start tonight, which is a revelation. Key off the start very nicely indeed. And 2 Torossos are going to go side by side through form. And it looks like Pariah's just got the head of Hades. So he gets the move done. He's up into 2nd. Everyone clean through turns 1 and 2, which is good to see. Now through the village section of turn 3. And obviously with 10 cars here, it's not really going to be the rough and tumble that you would expect in a normal league race. Key though leads. Pariah in 2nd, but Pariah right on the back. 2 tenths away from Key. He could look for a move down towards Brooklands. He might have to think about this around the outside. Storm is down the inside of Brooklands as well, just in behind. We'll come on board with that in just a second, but Pariah muscles his way down the inside through Luffield, trying to get the move done, and the Toro Rosso man is through. Excellent driving there by the Norwegian. He's moving to the lead of the race. Storm and Hades are side by side as well. Just in behind, Mashiro's had a bit of a poor start. It's side by side for the lead. Oh, and there's contact between Key and Pariah. Ooh. Pariah just moving across the thing on Key. He just goes into the gravel as well. He will have to rejoin track. There is that yellow flag in sector 2. Passel's has round through the middle sector as well. He's gone round through Cops. That was done by himself. Key now leads. Storm inherits 2nd. Hades now down to 3rd. So Storm has got a very good start. Mashiro back up to 4th, but unfortunate for Pariah with that spin. Passel's unfortunate with that front wing damage, but again, that was just done by himself. There was no other contact out on track. But it just seemed to me, with that incident between Pariah and Key out on track, it almost looked like to me Pariah moved across to try and get the line, and side by side into Cops is very difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's pretty difficult, you know, and being on a full tank, you know, fuel, double the difficulty. So quite interested to see that. And I want to mention that the good thing about this race is that safety car is on. So if there is any crash, you know, probably, yeah, there are some chances of safety cars, so that could save the race.
Yeah, Passel's have been disqualified for going the wrong way. He's just reversed out on track. I think he was trying to get back into the pit lane. I'm not sure what's going on. I saw him on the mini-map thinking he hasn't got that into the pit lane, and now he's been disqualified and left the race. That's one way to go out of your season in TTL F1 League 2. Hades, though, on the back of Storm. It's 0.3 of a second separating, and just looking at position games, Storm has gained from 5th up to 2nd. A phenomenal start by the Racing Point man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has been a really good start, and if he's able to push now, probably he can have some chances to win the race. But we can see that the top 5, it's pretty even. I'm surprised to see Maximus, you know, holding on, because generally he's not that consistent. You know, he has issues at the start, but today it seems like he could have the pace.
Well, he did win Britain, remember, back in round 3 of the championship in TTL F1 League 2, so he's probably thinking that could be on his side. He is just lacking slightly on my end. Mashiva's trying to gain on Hades in the meantime. And just to speak about Maximus, he actually made a mistake through turn 1, through Farm and then into Abbey. He picked up a 3-second time penalty the last lap around, and he's pretty much nearly done exactly the same. He didn't run as wide this time, and he didn't pick up a 3-second time penalty either this time either. But Key leads the way on to lap 3 through the village section. DRS now enabled, no safety car just yet. Touch wood, we don't get one tonight. Key leading the way though. Storm, cautious Storm in 2nd, and we could have the battle that we've been longing for all season between Key and Storm. Storm just running a bit deep in towards Brooklands now through Luffield. I think that's to try and get the run. You can see 2 different lines being taken there. Key opting for the outside line, Storm opting for the inner line, and to be honest, I think the outer line worked there because Key's pulled away by 7 tenths, and now Hades is on the back of Storm.
Yeah, I mean, right now, yeah,
oh, sorry to cut back in.
Over.
Sorry to cut back in. Jeffrey's trying to get the move done on Charlie further down the field. Oh, it was dicey in its way, possibly to find a run through Pops. Didn't quite pull it off. Go ahead, what were you saying?
Yeah, that Hades is all over Storm, and I was actually going to mention too, like the battle between Jeffrey and Charlie. We can see a gap starting to form between Maximus and Charlie. Everyone except Pyrrhia on mediums, like behind Maximus. Oh, we can see Jeffrey and Jeffrey side by side.
Just about hanging around. Jeffrey's trying to go down the inside into the club share, getting very close to contact. A little bit of contact, in fact, on the rear, but it is Jeffrey just about through. Well, he didn't get through up to 7th. Key has picked up a 3-second time penalty through turn 1. Key beginning to struggle, maybe with overheating of the tyres. And yeah, you mentioned Hades was right on the back of Storm out the final corner. It looked like he didn't get the run though.
No, he didn't. He was pretty close at the exit, but at the entering the last corner. But yeah, the exit was not great. Now we can see everyone opening their DRS like they did in the previous lap. But now it's gonna be interesting because Maximus will need.
Charlie's dived it down the inside through Brooklands on. Jeffrey down the inside of Charlie, and look at Conti and Pariah 2x2. Noah's Ark, they go through there, and Pariah has got the move done down the inside of Luffield. Has he got the move done? They're still side by side on the run down towards Cops. There's some great stuff between them both. Pariah not going to launch it down the inside as he slight contact on the rear end, but how on earth it came out of that is beyond me. Pariah is not going side by side here. No way, no way. Pariah ran the outside. What a move.
Amazing.
Fair play to Pariah. Absolutely unbelievable racing from Charlie and Pariah. I'm afraid to say to Charlie, he's just been made to look an absolute mug there, to be honest. Pariah is now up to 7th, and Charlie has now dropped 2 positions because Conti just got past him. What racing.
Yeah, good moves, and we can see suddenly Maximus has caught up again. You know, he was almost 1 second off
very wide.
the group ahead. Yeah, now he's again really close, but we can see Mashiro all over Hades, and I think like Key, I think he's slowing up the pack because it's not normal. You know, Maximus was losing time, and suddenly he's back in the fight.
Might be just an overheating of the rear tyres, I think, for Key. That's why he's coming back, I think, to Storm, and certainly Hades. But the DRS training behind is going to give Key that distinct advantage, I think. These guys are going to be closing in on him, but I think with the pure runs that he gets out of the corners, he's safe enough from Storm at this moment in time. I'm not sure what you think. I think he's overheating the tyres, though, certainly.
Yeah, I don't know if it could be overheating because it would actually be weird. Like how.
Goodness me, he was sideways through cops. Jesus.
Yeah, so some guys trying, you know, some crazy moves. I mean, today is the day, you know, to try and look cool, you know, saying, oh, look, I can do it round the outside cops, you know. But yeah, interesting to see all guys trying to battle. Yeah, and Storm is now
switching it to the inside. No, he's going to be cautious. Cautious yeah, Storm exactly. As always. He's on the back of Key. But can he get the move done around the outside in towards in towards the club chicane? He can't. Pariah in the meantime is through on Jeffrey. Jeffrey has actually fell down the field. Has there been contact, I wonder, between Pariah and Jeffrey? He's now down into 9th position. Hades has gone behind Mashiro and behind Maximus as well. So Hades has had a very poor run out. And Mashiro and Maximus say thank you very much. 3 positions for them. And they're up to P3 and P4.
Yeah, and I would say Storm is actually, like, he's taking it so cautious. You know, he's faster than Key, but he's just way too cautious on the move. And I know I said at the beginning, you know, that the key in a 100% race is to be patient. But come on, you're faster. You know you can make the move. You have to do it.
Well, to be honest, I think, honestly, this race is made for Storm because 52 laps of racing, it is cautious. Cautious is his middle name. I think it's a perfect race for him, to be honest.
Well, I could actually, yeah, I could understand, and actually I can get the point. The problem is, you know, in the second stint, when you actually have to try and attack, you know, and you have to make the move, I don't know if he's gonna be able, though. I would actually put him as a candidate, as we can see that he's under pressure from Mashiro.
Is he close enough?
He's gonna send it, I think.
No, he's not. Cautious Mashiro this time.
Nah, he was quite sensible, you know. He knew that trying to move, you know, with the mediums that you have less grip, it was a bit crazy, you know. So he rather wait till he actually has an advantage on the other drivers, and we see Maximus setting the fastest lap.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at that, to be honest. It was a 132.7 out on track. Maximus just coming into contention. I was just going to mention him and say he looks to me as if he's quicker out of these guys. Oh, and he makes contact with the back of Mashiro, caused a bit of a Constantino effect in behind with Hades just in behind. A little bit of lag for Maximus, but now are we going to see any moves done? I don't think Maximus is going to be close enough to Mashiro, but here comes Hades. Look at the overspeed down the inside and towards Brooklands. Can the Toro Rosso man get the move done on the Mercedes? It's going to be very close through Luffield. Can he get the move done around the outside? He tries to switch it to the inside, but Maximus, having none of it, defends it arguably very well there. And Maximus still in 4th position, but it's just a matter of time, I think, until Hades gets past and is onto the back of Mashiro.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it. It's just...
and Key's made a mistake! Key has made a huge mistake, actually, through cops. Just saw that, actually. I think he must have been sideways through cops. It looks like he hasn't lost any end plate damage. He hasn't got a puncture. He's just made a pure mistake. And now Mashiro and Storm are going to battle it out for the lead of the race. And look at Mashiro. Here he comes. The defending champion, the 2-time champion of TTL F1 League 2, is now into the lead of the race in the Challenge Cup. And Hades is trying to lunge it down the inside of Maximus as well. Not quite close enough. But Mashiro just about hanging on. Could Storm come back? No. Can Hades come back on Maximus? No, he can't. Maximus still 3rd, Hades still 4th, but Mashiro's through on Storm. Or is he?
He's all over. I mean, Mashiro is now up to 1st, but we can see also Hades all over Maximus. So we have 2 fights going at the same time. And actually, Mashiro, you know, really clever driving. He hasn't risked it, and I think that Storm being cautious has costed him, you know, the lead, because he could have been ahead of Key before lap 7.
Hades down the inside of Maximus into Brooklands. Oh, a little bit of side-by-side contact there, off camber of the corner, and Key might take full advantage of this. Down the inside goes the McLaren man. Down the inside, he's got the move done. Has he through Woodcut? He has. Key is through and he's up to 4th. Hades just had a bit of oversteer, I think, coming out of Luffield. And Key's through and he's up to 4th. But, again, it looks like he's beginning to get back into this.
Yeah, although it seems like a gap is starting to form between Storm and Maximus. Never mind, he's again like almost
Oh,
under.
Hades all out of shape.
What a
Goodness
save.
me.
And I don't know, because now with Mashiro's pace, Storm could actually try.
Key!
Oh, what a
Oh, I
launch.
thought it was going to go around the outside of Maximus through Stowe. Goodness me.
But I just have doubt in this whether Storm is gonna be able to pull away with Mashiro, or he's gonna eventually, lose the DRS range. But look at that, 1.8 already between Maximus and Storm, and that's actually a quite, it's beginning to form a big gap between them.
The more that Storm hangs on to the back of Mashiro, the more he will be in favour, I think, towards the end of the race. Because a pit stop around here is, what, 29, 30 seconds, roughly. So it is going to be quite close. Obviously, these guys are very bunched together still. 1.9 seconds, the gap between Storm and Maximus, as you say. And with Maximus coming under pressure from Key, surely this is advantage for Storm. I mean, the gap is pulled out and Maximus has ran very wide through Brooklyn's rejoins track, and Hades is going to take full advantage of that as well. So Maximus down. Beautiful move by Hades. Oh, Maximus is off and he's out of the race. Maximus is out of the race through Luffield. Is there a safety car? Is there a safety car? That looks like it's off track, to be honest. Could be a VSC, you never know. No, it's completely cleared.
Yes, it's VSC. No, it's VSC.
Oh, is it? Oh, it hasn't came up on my screen.
Oh, weird. Yeah, but it's actually a BSC. Yeah, and we can see the drivers are, lifting off.
Going down to about 40% speed they normally do under the virtual safety car, even though it doesn't look 40%, going at 180 mile an hour down the hangar straight.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Now we can confirm it. Will Storm pit?
He is.
Yes, he is.
Storm's in.
What tire
hard.
is he gonna put?
He has to go on hard. He will never get to the end on mediums. On 41 lap old mediums, I tell you now, will not make it. Hard it will be, I think, Storm. We should see a white wall tyre in his pit box. It should be. Oh no, it's not. It's a yellow
mediums.
wall. Mediums.
There we go.
Interesting.
That's my man, risking it. Yes.
Interesting.
Let's see how it plans out. But yeah, actually I agree with you. 42 laps on mediums. Difficult, but not impossible, I think.
So have a look, because he is going to rejoin just behind Jeffrey out on track. Just seeing that from the minimap. I'm on board with Hades as well. On the back of Key. Hades driving a very astute race here. Key now back up to second as a result of Storm's pit stop. It's a McLaren 1-2, and it's like, well, TTL F1 League 2 of old, to be honest. Toro Rosso 3 and 4, and McLaren first and second. Oh, Hades, goodness me.
It is.
Oh.
And I feel bad. I feel bad for Maximus, really, because he was doing finally a good race, but what I talked, before, he hasn't had the consistency during the whole season. Like, he has been making mistakes, he has been involved in incidents, and today he has showed it again. Probably not the best season he has had in TTL F1 League 2. But let's hope that for the next game. Ooh.
Oh my god almighty, I thought he was going to lunge it down the inside into the club chicane. Oh.
It was quite a difficult place to actually launch it.
Still second and third, goodness me. Don't give me another heart attack, Hades, please.
Oh, I think it's... Oof. Alright, he's down. But yeah, as I was saying, I hope that Maximus can have, a better season in the next game. Because he deserved it. I know him since the start of F1 2018, and I know that he's a fast guy, that he can actually have good races. Oh, but look at Hades trying it down into the inside.
No.
He will have to try the switchback though. Will he try it?
No.
Nah, not close enough.
Storm's right, shoving pretty much Jeffrey through the corner there. Goodness me, this is a battle for 7th and 8th. There's only 8 drivers going around, by the way. Storm is looking to try and get the outside line, may switch it inside into Brooklands, but is he going to go for the move? He's got to go for the move. He's on fresher tyres than Jeffrey. Get the move done now. Oh, and make a little bit of contact, why don't you? There's my first commentator's curse of the night. Storm nearly into the back of Jeffrey. Just about hangs on to the position though. But surely it's just a matter of time for Storm to get past. Hades has dropped off Key as well in the meantime. But Mashiro is dominating out in front, and the more Key and Hades battle, the more he will pull away.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not new, right? I mean, he has been doing that during the whole season, so it's not a surprise, at least for me. But it's actually surprising that he's doing that with the mediums.
Yeah, it is very surprising. 3 seconds the gap. Here comes Storm. Down the inside on Jeffrey through Stowe. There we go. He's got the move done now. And Storm is through and he's up into 7th position. Jeffrey could fight this back. Nearly shoving him through into the club chicane. Yeah, but Storm parks the bus. He's through and he's up into 7th. Good move.
Yeah, definitely it was. And now he doesn't need to, like, he must not lose time. I mean, he needs to do the well, he actually, with the virtual, probably he has done the undercut, but he needs to, you know, create a bigger gap, and in that way, probably he will still have some chances to win the race.
Gap is 26 seconds between Mashiro and Storm, and I said it was about 30 seconds for pit stop. Storm technically is in the net lead of this race, I think. Could be wrong.
No, I think he is. I think he is. With that virtual safety car, if now Mashiro pitted, he would be in the lead. But the question is, I mean, he has risked it by going into the pits. But for me, it's actually a clever idea because he had to take the chance. You don't know if you're gonna have more safety car or virtual safety car in the rest of the race. So he needed to do something. He did it. If it doesn't work, well, at least he tried, you know. But he needed to do something different to the guys in front, and he did it. So whether it goes well or bad, I think he deserves respect for that.
Yeah, the big advantage as well for the guys on mediums currently, including Storm could be on a 2-stop, we don't know, but certainly with him, if he stays on the set of mediums, if he pulls out that gap, if he's in the net lead of the race, remember Mashiro especially is going to be on a set of soft compounded tyres towards the end of the race, and that is the key point right there. I think Mashiro probably going to be landing himself more in a tactical position in the longer term in the race, but shorter term, Storm has done a very good strategy, I think, in terms of the racing out on track. We're a quarter of the way through the race, by the way. Mashiro leads from Key in second, but the soft's beginning to come into play, and with no dirty air, Key is beginning to catch, and he's dragging along Hades with him.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I mean, 1.5, and it's, I don't know.
1.3. Wow.
Wait, let me check. All right, Mashiro. I mean, look, the ERS. Mashiro has been saving quite a lot, but we can see that actually Key is not that bad on ERS. He is actually 40%. Well, roughly 40%.
Oh.
So actually, it's gonna be interesting because if Key is able to, you know, to be in the ERS range, that's gonna get interesting.
Do you think Mashiro is going to try and partake in a bit of farming simulator after this? Because it looks like he's harvesting his ERS at the minute. Come on, you had to get that one. Come on.
Alright, I mean, last race of the season, 100%, right? Alright, but I would say it's interesting because I don't know what Mashiro is doing. I cannot read his mind, you know. Maybe there is some team orders.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, to be honest. I think Mashiro could be letting himself in for play to drag Key along with him, and then the advantage would be with Key in terms of Storm, who's already pitted. That's what was going through my mind, to be honest.
Well, that could actually be a great theory. We'll have to see, you know, how it plays, but let's see what happens, because looking at that, I think, he could actually be on a move. I mean, if I were him, I would actually have saved some ERS, but he's gonna launch it.
Oh, down the inside. Mashiro just about hanging on. But Mashiro, interestingly, I noticed coming out of Chapel, he really opened up the ERS once again. He put it up to ERS mode 4, same with Key, and that's why Mashiro stayed in P1. If he didn't open up the ERS, then I think it would have been a different story, to be honest. I think Hades as well has now come into play. Key has suddenly had a very poor run out of club and is now nearly a second off the back of Mashiro. And I think, to be honest, this point in the race, as we go on board with Storm and Jeffrey, who are side by side in towards club. Goodness me. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact, but Storm has got the move done. Jeffrey trying to force his way through the inside, has spun slightly on the curb, and Storm has now got a very comfortable P7 with him. Jeffrey just going for a move. Don't think there was a gap always going to close. I think Jeffrey should have backed out of that one, to be honest, but he needed to try something, and obviously it failed for him.
Yeah, he needed it, and yeah, you have to go for it, really. If you have the chance, you need to try. But we can see Key has lost a little bit compared to his teammate. So I don't know if his tires are starting, you know, to lose some grip, but definitely it could be a symptom.
Yeah, 7.5 tenths the gap, and I mean Mashiro was saving up a bit of ERS again, so I wonder if that was the case. Key is beginning to catch him down the straight, obviously with DRS, obviously using a bit of ERS as well. Hades is now under pressure, and if you are tuning in for the first time, by the way, to a Challenge Cup event, or if you're tuning in to an F1 League race for the first time, then welcome, and I want to give a bit of an explainer about the DRS and the ERS system. What we mean about DRS, but I'll come on to ERS first. Say, for example, we're on board with Mashiro. He's in ERS mode 2. So ERS mode 2 is in, what? Medium, I think it is, for ERS mode 2. And then if we go on board with Hades now, he's still in ERS mode 2. But we'll see Mashiro rank it up to about ERS mode 3 or 4. This is overtake mode technically. He's just in high mode now for ERS mode 3. But now, we're right on board with Key. He's just opened up the DRS. That was a bit of a failure because they came to the end of the straight there. But the DRS system gives you that extra bit of power down the straight and really forces the car behind to try and catch up. It gives you something like 20 mile an hour extra speed down a straight. Even if it's a short straight, it will still give you that amount of power. I just find it interesting. If anybody's tuning in for the first time and want an explainer about ERS and DRS, there you go. Something to fill up for the time for the 100% race.
Thank you, Mr. James. You know, giving lessons. There we go. And then they say that TT live streams are not educational. There we go.
Exactly.
No teaching lessons. And we can see once again Key. Oof, alright, I thought he was gonna try. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to have to put our videos, our live streams actually, on the little mini player ones, which is like made for kids. I think that's what we're going to have to put our live streams on from now on. But yeah, I was just going to come on your point as well. Keep trying to get the move done there down in towards Stoll through turn 15 on Mashiro. Again, he's just backing off slightly. Just in terms of the ERS, it's about 80% for Mashiro. Key on about 55%. It's about 25% difference. Obviously, Key is looking, I would say, a little bit quicker through the corners than Mashiro. Through the corners and through entry has just pulled away by 6 tenths. I mean, Key's not even close enough for the move to get done. But it seems to me, though, we could be seeing a bit of a change in the conditions because it's coming over a bit more cloudier, I think, out on track now.
Oof, I don't think there's gonna be rain because then storm idea would be horrible.
I've just clicked on with what Storm might have done. Is there rain expected at the end of the race?
Oof. That's actually a good guess.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what's going through my mind because Storm obviously has got the move done. Oh, Key is at a right moment coming out of Chapel. Goodness me, what a recovery. He tried to open up the DRS. Hades is now going to try and sail it around the outside in towards Stoll. A little bit of contact between them both. Key forced onto the grass. Hades trying to get the move done. Tiny bit of contact. More contact between them both. Key into the pits. His tyres are shot. And Hades now comes now around the final couple of corners. But Key's into the pits and a 5-second time penalty speeding into the pit lane. Well, he looked like he got the move done to me, but Hades thought second of it, tried to go for a gap that was essentially going to open up and make contact with him, and Key, I think rightfully so, was into the pits because those tyres looked shot on the front.
And now the question remains, how far is he going to emerge from Storm?
He's going to be right behind him. He's going to be about 2-3 seconds behind him, I think. Yeah, there's Storm just coming past him now on the mini-map. Key's just at the exit of the pit lane. It's going to be about 3-4 seconds. Yeah, about 3-4 seconds. 4 seconds. Ah, see, I've got a prediction right for once this season. Fantastic. The only one I will ever get right in my TTL and TTTV career.
Prediction doesn't seem that far away from being completed, you know. So it could actually be interesting to see how it ends, because we now have a fight, you know, between Hades and Key. Now Key has a 5-second time penalty, so it will be interesting if he's able to pull that gap from Hades. But then we have Storm that could actually be on a potential win, and then we have Mashiro that probably he's gonna lead until he pits,
Hades
or
is
maybe not. We'll have to see. Yeah.
Oh, just about slows it down. That was about 31 mile an hour into the pit lane. Of course, it's 37 coming into the pit lane, I think, here at Silverstone. But look at how long this pit lane is. One of the longest pit lanes I think you could ever have within F1. You normally spend about half a minute to about 45 seconds sometimes within the race. It depends on what category obviously you are in. Hades though is out. Storm is coming round club now through turn 18, so Storm is going to be out ahead. I wonder actually if Hades is going to be right out beside Key. I think it's going to be the case. Hades and Key are going to be side by side coming out of the out of turn 1 through farm, and I think Key is just about ahead. He is. So Key is just about ahead, but it's about 8 or 9 tenths of a second coming out of the pit lane. Lap fresher tyres though for Key. He's got warmer tyres, I should say. Key now, I think, at a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. If he's able to manage it well, he could actually pull a gap to Hades. Now it's the moment. And now it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because they are now on fresh mediums. We can say that Storm still has plenty of grip remaining. And probably Mashiro, in the following laps, he will start feeling, you know, the wear on his tires. So it's going to be interesting to see how it reacts, and whether, I think he's going to be an indicator for Storm to see if he's going to be able to stretch the tire life till the end.
Well, Storm has came out 3 seconds ahead of him, but noticeably Key is already beginning to really gap into, put some distance now between himself and Hades in behind, and he's beginning to catch Storm. And the 8 lap pressure tyres, I mean, I've just cursed them there, coming through Stowe, running wide once again. But Key is catching Storm, and it's visible. He's catching him through the corners, which is evidently going to be the case. I think it's about 2.5 seconds. I mean, look at that, 131.7. That's all the evidence you need to see that Key is quicker, and he's quicker in terms of his last lap time. As I check Race Director quickly, Storm set a 133 flat, Key was a 131.7. 0.3 seconds essentially taken out. 2.5 seconds the gap. Key's closing in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems like he could have more pace, but we'll have to see. We need to also compare, you know, the ERS that every driver is using, but definitely it seems like he had some hidden pace, you know.
Yeah, I think Key has got some hidden pace, 2.3 seconds, but it might be down to his ERS. He is using ERS Mod 3 at this stage, coming through cops, as it nearly kills me, the cameraman. 2.1 seconds though the gap, and I think that is what is gaining him the time, because Storm is running no ERS. It's now 2 seconds the gap. I think Storm might be playing this a little bit tactically, you know, towards the end of the race. I think he's trying to save up enough ERS to defend off Key, and if Hades is dragged along by Key in front of him, then it could turn out to be a 3-way battle, potentially for a net P2 or a net win out on track. Certainly an FP2 it will be for.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it's tactical play, because we know how Storm is, you know. He likes to have everything measured, you know, to have everything under control, and he doesn't want to take risk, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised actually. Key now beginning to not use up any of his ERS. He now uses up that ERS once again. He will use it down the Wellington Straight, but he has saved up now about 15% more ERS than what he initially had. So Key now beginning to try and bring up that gap. At 2 seconds the gap. Obviously I think he's trying to go for a bit of a one-on, one-off strategy in terms of the ERS. He turns his ERS mode down on one lap and then goes for it the next lap. I think that might be his tactic here. It's working. It's similar to what I sometimes do when I drive in league races, when that's very, very rare, and I've never league raced on F1 2019 ever. But Key is beginning visibly to close in once again. It's 1.8 seconds, but Perez is closing him down. It's a second the gap. He could just be within DRS range.
Yeah, it seems like he's been able to
he's out of it.
Back. Oh yeah. But we'll have to see, because we can see now Key running out a bit of ERS. He's roughly 30%. He has roughly 30% of ERS. But yeah, like it seems like that trio, you know, it's getting close again. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the following laps, and when will Mashiro pit.
Mashiro, I think, will pit probably towards about lap 28, 29, I think from around that point, I think he'll start to pit in. Obviously, these softs don't wear off at the same rate as they do in the 50% race. Obviously, with it being simulated tyre wear more per se in the 50% race than in 100% where it's more realistic. Mashiro is currently 26 seconds ahead of Storm out on track. There's the big indicator right there, because Storm has pitted. He pitted on lap 9, I think. Mashiro is continuing on lap 22 now, and Mashiro is just beginning maybe to feel the effects, but arguably I think he's beginning to extend up that gap to Storm. 26.1 seconds, it's what we saw last night in TTL F1 with Recon and Navy, I think it was, beginning to come into play with a bit of a battle, and Calspur as well. And it seems to me that Mashiro, being in the lead, being out in clear air, is certainly beginning to pull out that gap. And I mean, Key is a lot closer this time to Storm, and he's going to sail on by down the inside, not even in towards Stowe. He gets the move done. That is pure overspeed there from Key. He gets the move done, but he's into fourth. But now it's game on. Storm has to respond to this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he has sent it, you know, and he has sent the message, you know, as well, like saying,
he's not hanging about. 131.5.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely having the pace. I don't know how he's gonna save the ERS now, because I think he should be more smart, more sensible, you know, and I think he should wait maybe behind Storm a couple of laps, save some ERS.
Jeffrey's had a moment coming through Farm and Abbey. That is through turn 1 and 2. I think he's got caught on the grass possibly and has went off to the right hand side. I think that's what I fear might have happened. It's a VSC. So it's another VSC out on track. So the virtual safety car has been brought. Key? What's he doing? Oh, he has to stick through Delta time. I think that's what was happening there. It looked like Storm was going to waltz around the outside of him. But Key, I think, probably just out of Delta, had to brake very suddenly to get back within Delta, and that's probably why you saw a bit of a brake, well, technically a brake check, but it's for the Delta time rather than a purposeful move by Key. And again, Key, you can see him slowing up. Storm just has to be really careful here, because obviously these guys have got to maintain to Delta. Storm's Delta might be like 2 seconds inferior to Key. Key might be just on the limit. That's what we're talking about here, and I mean, I think we're just about to get back underway in terms of the action. Storm is looking to try and go around the outside. DRS is enabled. If it was enabled just 200 yards before, I think Storm might have got the move done. He runs very wide, but now this is the chance. This is the opportunity for Storm to come back at Key. That 24 out of 52, and the gap between Key and Mashiro out on track is 29.4 seconds. And Storm, right on the back of Key, Is he going to try and switch it back through to Farm and then into Abbey? Very good battle this going on. Racing Point and the McLaren. Hannah's not too far off this either. The Toro Rosso man getting into this. Obviously Pariah is through on Jeffrey with him crashing out of the race, but Key and Storm, he has to come back and he has to respond now rather than anywhere else. He's closing in down the Wellington Straight, but he's not close enough. Key hangs on to 4th.
Yeah, he hangs on, and I think they should be clever. They shouldn't lose that time. I mean, Storm being the driver he is, he should actually stick behind, you know, try to save some tires, ERS, and try to emerge in front of
oh, Key's round! Key's round through Storm.
Oh, no.
Key's round through Cops even. He's round. He lost the back end. He drifted it. He tried to Tokyo drift it. It failed for him. And now Hades is on the back of Storm. Storm, great avoiding action. Key has only picked up right side end plate damage, I believe. So not too much damage at all. But Storm just had to avoid that. It gave him the shock of his life. But he's now got another shock coming because Hades, on 9-lap pressure tyres, is right on the back of him and could get the move done actually through Stowe. He's not close enough, but visibly it is getting darker out on track.
Yeah, getting darker and darker, but if we actually have rain, this is gonna get messy. And we'll have to see, because look at that. I mean, Stormy is 5.8 behind his teammate, but look at Conti and Charlie, you know, in podium position. And if the rain comes into play, it's gonna be great for them.
Yeah, the VSC I think has really helped out Conti and Charlie's chances to get a potential podium here tonight. Key obviously having that spin through Cops. We saw it from Storm's point of view, and again Storm with really good action to not hit into the back of Key. I think obviously it was going to be one of those scenarios where the ghosting system could fail or not. Key though was into the pit. He hasn't retired from the race. He goes on to a set of softs. Half the race on a set of softs. He's tried his luck a little bit.
Well, probably that means that we're gonna have rain. Could it?
It could. Yeah, you could be right. It could mean that we're gonna have rain. Mashiro is coming round possibly to lap Key. I think Key is just going to be out in front of him. I'm aboard though with the Hades and Storm battle. 4th and 5th out on track. Some lunatic goes past my house speeding. Hades though, better speed past Storm in the meantime. I like how I cut back to the action out on track there. Hades is through and he's up into 4th. Made light work of him.
Yeah, definitely. Good move. And it seems like Storm is running out of pace.
Yeah, Storm, I think, not overheating the tyres as such, but he's certainly beginning to struggle, I think. Hades has got the advantage on him out on track. Jeffrey has left the session. I was trying to imitate what he was going to say, because I saw his mic come on in the top right-hand side of my screen, and I was thinking, does he want to join the party and talk about his race? But no, he doesn't. Hades still in P4, just having a bit of a slide out of entry, but Storm trying to gain onto the back. But the advantage though is now, Hades is now out in front of Storm. Storm could try this down into Brooklands but doesn't. Hades though is gaining on Charlie. That's what we've got to factor in here. Hades will gain on Charlie and will drag Storm along with.
Yeah, and that's gonna be good for him. I mean, right now I would just save. I would just save and try to have a cool race without making any mistakes, because we have seen it. Pariah made it at the start of the race. He's now 6, just in front of Key. Key made 2 mistakes. He's now at the back of the grid. Maximus made another mistake. He's out of the race. You just need to be patient, you know, and keep it cool. That's what Storm needs right now.
Yeah, good evening to Recon, by the way, that has tuned into the comment section. Hopefully you are keeping very well out, well, not out on track, but he did take the Challenge Cup win from last night, did Recon. Hopefully he's having a good night. Hopefully he's got a nice cold drink beside him. I certainly have, although it's not of the alcoholic kind. 27 out of 52, and Mashiro leads. Conti second, Charlie in third. Hades picks up a 3-second time, but though coming through Farm and Abbey. That was through Farm at turn 1 where we picked that up. Storm now in 5th, Pariah in 6th, and Key obviously in 7th. After that mistake through Cops, you can rewind this back a couple of minutes because that's where we saw the mistake happen, and Keith just picked up a 3-second time penalty to Maggots and Beckett. Mashiro though 22 seconds ahead. It's got a little bit stale, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. He has. But I think that the question is if the rain is gonna come, because from lap 30 probably no, actually I risk it there, but from lap 32 maybe 33 they could actually pit for softs, maybe. So I don't know if they will try to actually hold on. Like now the question is the one you said earlier, will the rain come? We don't know.
Will the rain come? We don't know. Answers on the postcard, please, if you are a driver out on track and you saw the weather forecast. But I tell you what, it has noticeably got cloudier out on track. Yeah. Certainly through certain parts of the track, it's got a lot cloudier out on track. I mean, we normally see the sun through turn 1, so this is where we should see the last patch of sun, if there is any. But I mean, look at that, there is no patch of sun, and it's definitely came over cloudier. But what does this do? This brings in, I think, the medium compound of tyres rather than the softs, because they're going to be operating at a colder temperature, which is actually going to be more in favour of the mediums as opposed to the softs. Obviously, Key's on a set of softs. He's the only one out on track on a set of softs. Has Storm been hoping for the rain, and is it about to come?
It could actually be brilliant for him. Not so brilliant for Key, but perfect for Storm. Well, perfect if the guys ahead pit, because if not, that's gonna be messed up.
I think honestly this could be looking good, and obviously we've got F1 2020 going to be released in just about a month's time, out on PS4, out on Steam and on Xbox as well. But we will be merging, of course, with TMC going forward. Hades and Storm battling in the meantime. We're just going to try and fill a bit of the time, and I want to spark a bit of a debate as well within the comment section. What is your first track that you are going to be racing at on F1 2020, and what mode will it be in? Paco, I'll let you go first.
Oh, well,
you weren't expecting that.
I think I would. Oof, that's interesting. I would say either Hanoi or Monaco, because Monaco is my favorite track. So you know, I always like to make my first laps on Monaco. But Hanoi, it's quite new. I haven't seen that much, and I think it's gonna be interesting because it has a really long straight, 13 seconds, I think it is, of DRS. So I feel curious, and I think I will do it probably, I don't know, probably in Grand Prix mode to test the AI.
Interesting. I think honestly, to be honest, I'm going to be buying F1. Hopefully the stalls are getting opened up. Hopefully game opens up down in the bridges down in Sunderland, and hopefully I'll be getting my copy of F1 2020 on a disc. If not, I will be getting it digitally. But my first track probably is either going to be Zandvoort or Hanoi. I love testing out any new tracks that come into the game. Mashiro, though, in the meantime, has just ruined our little talk of F1 2020 because he's came into the pits. And I wonder if this is going to be for a set of softs.
Yeah, probably it will. We'll have to see now when he switches tire.
Yeah, he is.
Yep. And I have to say, yeah, everyone is pitting now. And I wanted to add something, and now I've forgotten about it. My memory is horrible.
Tell you what though, Mashiro, there's Hades, there's Mashiro, there's Storm. Hades and Storm are ahead of Mashiro. Unbelievable.
No surprise at all.
No surprise at all, but they've undercut him. And I thought it would have been a bit touch and go, but Hades and Storm actually have undercut Mashiro quite comfortably, I think, for 1.7 seconds.
But I'm actually surprised because I expected a bigger gap than that one. So if there's rain incoming, this is gonna be interesting to see if they can hold on till the rain comes. But then we can see Conti, you know, the master of stretching the tire life. We can see that he hasn't pitted yet. You know what I mean? He's gonna try, you know, and hold on with those tires because we've seen it multiple times in F2, you know, in also here. He can stretch the tires a lot more than what other drivers do.
Yeah, to be honest, I really agree with that, because Mashiro certainly can make these tyres last, and I mean, he's already hunting the two of them down. So it's one thing to get close to a driver though, it's another to try and get past. In the meantime, Storm dices and dodges to the outside line through Stowe, and around the outside he goes. Storm is through and he's up into second. Great move on wearing tyres, and there's Mashiro out of the clouds, coming from absolutely nowhere, and the Japanese man just dived it down the inside of Hades. Fantastic stuff, opportunistic. He takes his opportunity, signed, sealed, delivered. Mashiro up to third, and now chasing down Storm for second. That was a champion's move right there.
Yeah, and look at that. I mean, he has full grip. He has more pace on those soft. He's gonna go for the move on Storm, and I think Storm is not gonna be able to do anything.
Just has to correct himself there though, through entry, through the village section even, and into the loop. And now Mashiro, Storm trying to break the toe, and I think that's the best thing he can try and hope for. Mashiro's going to try and come from a mile back to get the move done, but it's not quite. I think they're going to go side by side into Cops, you know. This is just looking like, written all over it, Mashiro's going to get the run out of left field, and it's going to be side by side down into Cops. And, I mean, that's another prediction that's coming right for me, because Mashiro's going to have to do it the hard way around the outside of Cops. Storm will want to go side by side, but he doesn't. Mashiro's already got the move done. I think he had the pace. He uses up his DRS. Mashiro through and he's up to second. Storm, I think, kind of let him through, but I think it was always going to be Mashiro's move.
Yeah, I mean, he has more grip, you know. It was really easy for Mashiro to go around the outside, and we can see Hades also, you know, getting really close to Storm. I'm not sure if he's gonna actually try the move going into the last corner. Nah, he's too far. But we can see Conti still on a 30 laps medium. When will the rain come? Will it actually come? Because this could actually be a really good play by Conti if the rain actually comes.
Oh, Storm's made a right howler of a mistake through Farm, now through Abbey, and Hades is right on the back, and he's trying to go around the outside into the village. Surely not from Hades, he's onto the inside line. Can the Toro Rosso get the move done? He can. Brilliant move, and he's got DRS as well. Storm had no luck in there. One mistake too many. He'll try and keep onto the back of Hades. He could try and go for the move down into Brooklands, but not quite. Hades through and he's up to third. Brilliant move.
I mean, when I heard you say that he could actually go for the move, I was going to say, remember James, it's Mr. Cautious. Yeah, he was not going to try back, but now it's going to be interesting if he's able to hold on.
Oh my god.
But definitely he needs the rain, because I don't think he's going to be able to get those tires till the end.
Mashiro was streaking ahead of Hades, by the way, and he's on the back of Conti already. 0.4 of a second. He could be past Conti here. He is going to be past Conti here. He can see from a mile off, and Mashiro has sailed past Conti. Conti didn't have a look in at all either, and Mashiro through, made Conti to look like an absolute mug, if I've got to be honest again. Just so much overspeed, so much power, so much grip. Mashiro's through and he's up to the lead of the race. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, definitely really good move. I mean, he's having a perfect race.
Champions drive?
The fastest lap. Yeah, definitely.
Champions drive. And I've got to say, Mashiro, we saw it last night. He drove a very good race in TTL F1 League 1 as well. I think he finished I think he finished on the podium actually in third due to penalties from a driver in front of him. I think it was Navy. And Mashiro, I've got to be honest, I said it last night and I'll say it again. He is Division 1 or Division 2 pace for TTML next season. If the game was to be run on this game, obviously. But pace can change.
Or even he could get better, because he has improved a lot during this game, I have to say. And, you know, we've seen many drivers that in 2018, you know, they gave a surprise. And in the next game, they even improved even more, you know. For example, I don't know if you know Sparks. You know, I think Sparks is the perfect example. In 2018, he made a huge improvement, but in this game, he has consolidated himself. And probably, I mean, this could overhype, you know, maybe Mashiro, but he could be on the same way, you know. He's improving quite a lot, and if he continues like that in the next game, why not dreaming about becoming, you know, a top driver?
Oh, he's had a moment, I think. He's getting a front wing change. Right side end plate damage on the car. He's back into the pit lane. I wonder if he's gone round through Cox again. Didn't see that. I didn't see any yellow flags on my mini-map. He's been lapped by the leaders, but he's still continuing. That's the main thing. He is still continuing and still wants to give a real go of it out on track, which I think we've got to commend him for. Because I think in his situation, probably if I was there in Key's position, I would have retired by now, if I've got to be honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, he has always showed a big commitment, so I have to congratulate him, really. But weird that he has gone, as you said, into the mediums. I don't know if he didn't have any tire left or what, but if theoretically rain is coming, he shouldn't have pitted. Anyways, now we're getting to a point that probably we'll have to, you know, like, to start believing that there's not going to be rain.
But we said that last night, and it was about 15 minutes for the rain that came, and it was lap 26, I think it was, when the rain started to fall out on track. I think it's going to be about 7 or 8 laps from the end of the race, personally.
It could be. I think something that I would implement in the next game, and I don't know if it's actually like better or worse. I would implement like a weather forecast.
I thought I saw a bit of rain there actually. I don't know. It's very difficult to see.
You are delusional.
Hades is off! Hades has gone off through Farmer Abbey. He recovers the car, but Storm is through. Storm through, he's up to third, and one mistake, maybe too many for Hades. And this is what I was on about earlier, certainly, with the mentality of these drivers. They've got to keep their motivation up. They've got to keep their mentality in the game and in the race. Otherwise, one mistake like that could see you out of the points, or out of the race, or out of a podium, like in Hades' case.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, you have to keep focused till the end of the race, and you cannot allow yourself to make a silly mistake.
This is why we don't do. I think this is probably why we don't do 100% races in TTL and in on TTTV. Certainly, I don't think we've seen many 100% races apart from the Challenge Cup events in the past. But certainly, Storm is attributing this quite well. He's got Conti on 35 lap-old mediums, basically. He's carried this from lap 1. He did this with his AI, if I recall, back in, I think it was America, where he lasted 34 laps. 34 laps out of a 28-lap race. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, Conti, he did a fantastic job. I think it was actually in Brazil, where he lasted 34 laps. He disconnected from the session. His AI then brought him home, pretty much. He rejoined in and did donuts, but he lasted on 33 or 34 lap-old mediums. And again, we're seeing very good conservative tyre wear here from Conti. Yes, he'll probably come out in 6th when he pits, but he's doing a fantastic job, and to be honest, he's not really losing much time to Storm.
Yeah, definitely. He's doing a good job, and he has always showed it, that he's the one to keep the tires, you know, on a low wear. I don't know if it's because you're on medium traction or what, you know, or the assist.
It's raining! It's raining! It's raining!
And this time you're not delusional. I can confirm it, guys. James is not delusional.
Yeah, I'm not delusional. There is definitely rain. I said it was going to be about 7 or 8 laps before the end of the race. Screw that. 36 out of 52, or 37 when these guys come round corners. But the track will take a longer time, I think, to get wet onto a set of inters. I think, banking on it, it's going to be either the end of lap 39 or the start of lap 40, where we could see the inter conditions. It will bear in mind if the rain falls hard enough and heavy enough for it to turn to inters. At the moment, it's quite light, but in 5 minutes' time, it could be absolutely teeming down of rain. And what's it like at Silverstone? We cannot get away from the bit of rain in Britain. Simple as that.
It happens or not, I have to say that Conti's strategy has been great. I mean, brilliant. I mean,
yeah.
Amazing. I cannot find more words. Well, I could actually find it, but it has been perfect. If he's able to hold on that position.
Tell you what, Storm is very much struggling here. Here comes Hades. Look at the overspeed of Hades. The Toro Rosso going to get the move done down the inside into Brooklands. Has he overcommitted it? Storm trying to go for the switchback, as you rightly say, but Hades going to have the inside of the corner. Storm around the outside, and car number 69, Hades, is through and he's up to third.
Nice move.
Good move.
Really nice move. Yeah.
Storm, I think, he did this last night as well in TTL F1 when he raced as a guest driver. He struggled when it started to turn to intermediate conditions. And that's what I think we're seeing. Mashiro, by the way, is now 10 seconds clear of Conti. I just thought I'd mention that. It was about 7.5 seconds last lap around. Wow. Hades, though, in the meantime, on the back of Conti. Is he going to try and get the move done down the inside? Oh, not quite close enough. He went onto the grass.
Oh, went into the grass, yeah.
Yeah, but look at this. I think the rain is now beginning to get a little bit heavier out on track, or it certainly will in the next minute or two. It's going to get heavier out on track, and the first indication of when it will be wet conditions is when spray begins to be kicked off these cars. And to be honest, I can see a tiny little bit of spray coming off on Storm's car, and that was through down the straight towards turn 1.
Yeah, but definitely it's way too soon, you know, to pit. It's a bit too soon, so probably they'll have to wait. But probably in 2 or 3 laps, and I have to say here, if you pit a lap earlier or later, you're gonna actually notice it hugely. And we can see Hades all over Conti, as we can see Storm behind, you know, trying to take an advantage. That would be risky. With this condition, it would actually be risky, but we know that Hades makes awesome movement now. He gets behind, but look at Storm going full power, you know, trying to make a move on Hades, but we know that he is Mr. Cautious, so probably he'll wait until Hades makes a mistake. But once again, Hades, again, really close from Conti. He could actually try to move going into...
yeah, this is it. This is it for Hades. Is he going to try and go around the outside on him? Through Conti, around the outside of Stowe. Fantastic move. Hades pulls off another great move.
But
Conti's
I think he
still
will try.
having a look in. No, he's not. Hades is through. He's up to second. Great move again. Hades is driving sensationally well.
Yeah, today I have to congratulate him. He has made a perfect race, and he has showed that he can be up there, you know. I mean, Mashiro is on another level, but... Tell me?
I thought he had lane play. Might be my eye. It is my eyesight. Yeah. Because it's so dark, I can't really see if anybody's got an end plate. Certainly on the Toro Rosso, but Hades has got a right side end plate. Trust me on that one. Storm, though, on the back of Conti, and now is Cautious Storm going to turn into I want the move Storm? Kind of. 50-50? No. He's still Cautious Storm. Still like rain though. Oh, and actually, I'll tell you what, he's got the move done here through Luffield, down the inside through Woodcut, now down towards Cops, the old turn 1. Storm has got the car ahead. Conti will have to back out this one. Storm is through, up to third. There wasn't anything cautious about that. Brilliant.
Surprising. Yeah, brilliant.
Surprising, yeah.
But we'll have to see, because every lap that passes, it's worse for Conti. I mean, I don't think Conti is going to be fighting for podium right now, because we see that now he's going to lose time and more time. But definitely, if he doesn't want to lose more time, or, you know, or have a puncture, he needs the rain to intensify.
The rain will intensify, I think, but if it's going to be light rain for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it will be, this is going to become more prone. Are we going to see a scenario near the end of the race where we're going to see drivers risking it to go on inters, and drivers risking it on dries, and drivers pitting in for inters? That's what we could be leading towards.
It could actually be, but I'm not actually. I don't know what to say really.
Key's got the move done on Conti. Just watching the ball with a bit of a good battle. He's just unlapped himself on Conti. Phenomenal run by the McLaren man. Yes, it's not for position, but he's through.
Definitely, Conti will be one of the guys that will pit for interest if that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Conti will probably be one of the first. Oh, and Key's round through Cops and right on end plate damage again through Cops. Yeah. So unfortunate. He just lost it. He got caught on the outside curb again, and it's very similar to what we saw when he was battling out for second. He's lost his total right side end plate damage. I can't believe he's still continuing on, to be honest.
Commitment.
Fantastic.
I need to plus that because
Key.
That's one of the clear. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, Key just has to take avoiding action. Pariah was very, very close to going inside of him and then not being a ghosting system. That's all I was going to say there.
Imagine he now crashes. And there is a safety car.
Okay, he's not accelerated into the pit lane. Is he still going to retire out of the race, I wonder? But the rain you can see on his camera is still very light out on track. And this is not really wetting the track that much. The more these guys do dry runnings out on track, you can see actually in part it is beginning to get wet within the pit lane. That might be the first indicator. And in fact, he's risking it completely. He's gone under a set of inters.
Great.
He may as well. He may as well, but he's got absolutely no chance, I'm afraid. He's got to spin out coming out of the pit lane, possibly. I don't know. This is going to be quite interesting to see. We'll run on board with him. There's not really much going on in terms of action anyway, so Key will provide us with that action, I think. Coming out on a set of inters. It's going to be like driving on ice. I can guarantee you that now. And he nearly cuts across into pit lane. You can see, actually, he's came out on a set of inters, and he's actually handled it rather well, but, yeah, there's no spray coming off the tyres.
Too soon?
Way too soon. Like 5 or 6 laps maybe too soon.
Yeah, definitely.
He may as well go for it though. I have no complaints him going for it at all. He's on a set of inters, he's down in 7th, he's been lapped by the whole field. He may as well try.
I mean, he needed to do something. He was at the back, so what did he have to lose?
Exactly, nobody has came into the pits just yet, so everyone's still happily going around. And speaking of going around, Keys ran through Cops again. The 4th time I think that has happened tonight.
I would actually, in the next game, put some graphics, some fancy graphics, you know, related to the forecast.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I can let you in actually on a little bit of a secret. We have got some new graphics for TTML next season. I haven't seen them, so I don't know what they are. Certainly, where we are going to have. Is my connection just lagged by the way there?
Are you out of the...
No, not out of the session. I just had a bit of a lag on my screen. Was I okay on your end?
Yeah, well, a bit of laggy voice, but nothing else.
Yeah, I've turned off my iPad. There we go. That should sort it. What was I saying?
About the fancy graphics.
Yes, the graphics. We have got some new graphics coming for next season for TTML. Of course, if you haven't been made aware, TTL is going to be no more after this race. After this race, it is going to be the end of the era for TTL, and we're going to be changing up to the Sprint Series and the Classic Series, and of course I'll come on to that at the end of the stream. But with the graphics, we are going to be seeing some brand new graphics come our way for the new season. I think we might even see it possibly in pre-season if that happens. But I can guarantee you there's new graphics on the way. And Tom, who's normally the man behind the graphics, he'll probably give you a wave if he's listening to the stream, or if he's behind doing some of the replays, which he isn't tonight. But if he's there anyways, I'm sure he'll be giving you a wave at this point to indicate that he is listening and that he is tuning in to the action out on track tonight. But he's been an utter legend, I think. I will say that. He's been an utter legend in terms of the graphics out on track. And I can confirm next season, certainly, we're going to have 3 divisions covered for graphics. It's going to be Division 1, Kieran McGinley and myself on a Tuesday. Division 2, which is myself and you on a Thursday night for Division 2 for the second division. And for Division 4, which will be Graham Chappell and the other commentator, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it will be Graham Chappell, one of the commentators taking you through Division 4 commentary. So we're going to be on back to the old, I think, with Division 5 commentary on Fridays.
Well, you know, a bit of both. It's not bad. You know, having a bit of fancy graphics and then going back to the old way. Probably the next game, you know, I've heard or they've said that they're gonna bring some fancy graphics brought by Amazon. You know, like the Amazon one. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they plan it to be. But definitely quite excited to see how the spectator, you know, is gonna see the race in the next game.
I certainly think we're going to see some form of spectator mode come out within the next couple of weeks within gameplay. I think that's quite important, to be honest, because you obviously want to buy a game that is going to provide you guys and everyone else out on track with something to watch back later on with the best graphics possible. And I mean, you were saying there with the AWS, it's going to be Amazon Web Services integrated into the game. So it's going to provide you more realistic data, and I think that's been done with the rework of the UI as well, the user interface, where obviously you see it on the right-hand side of your screen now, where we'll still have like camera type and telemetry and track map and all sorts, but it's going to be styled differently. So you will see that definitely as a difference on spectator mode next season, and it will be the same as well for spectator mode on the left-hand side in terms of the car names. It's going to be, I think, realistic towards what they appear in real life for Formula 1. When they appear on left-hand side. Oh, Conti's got a puncture! Conti has got a puncture, left side puncture, into the pit lane on 44 lap-old mediums.
He needs to go on intermediates.
He's going on softs! He's going on softs! You know what? If it stays like this, it won't be wet before the end of the race. I think that's what he's banking on. So Conti has risked it here. I think he's going to be guaranteed 6th anyways. But
to be honest, you know, if you risked it since the beginning, risked it till the end. That's it.
Risk it for a chocolate biscuit. That's what Conti is doing out on track. I'm sure we'll be diving into the digestives after this one. But anyways, Machimo leads by 19 seconds out on track. Enough of the biscuit puns, I think. But the papaya-coloured McLaren has done a fantastic job. And Machimo, being a winner already of the Challenge Cup and being a 2-time champion, surely this is going to be a second Challenge Cup, bearing that he gets through the next 6 laps.
Yeah. I mean, yellow flags. That's key, probably.
Key
right?
again. Through cops. Just seeing that on the mini-map there. It's not coming up on my screen as yellow flag, so I'm just indicating it. I think it was Key. He lost time to, I think it's Charlie that he's behind out on track. He's been lapped twice now, so Key still struggling out on track. He's still going though, which I recall. It only takes one person to DNF as well ahead of him for him to be up to 6th. Yeah. Rain looks like it's getting visibly heavier though, I think, out on track. Slightly heavier.
That's why if I had been Conti, we can see that the track is still dry, but because now I'm not that sure if he's gonna be able to at least catch. Nah, he's not gonna even catch Charlie. That's what I mean.
Is he gaining though on Charlie? Yes, he is. 12.7 seconds.
I mean, he will catch quite a lot, but I don't think he's gonna be able to catch it by the end of the race.
Well, I would buy it. Well, I would bank a fiver on it that he will catch him, but no. You know how it ended last time when in Brazil. Yeah, that's over that. Conti, in the meantime, on the back of Charlie, 12.5 seconds out on track. And yeah, if you're wondering what about what happened in Brazil, it was a bit between Mashiro catching right at the end of the race and him not catching at the end of the race. I think that's what we guaranteed on, and you said, oh, you'll be able to make it at the end of the race, he'll be able to catch. I think he did, didn't he? No, he didn't. He got outdone by Pariah on penalties. So I was the one in the right in the end.
It was sad, yeah.
But yeah, there we go. Mashiro, though, is leading on to halfway through lap 47. I can't believe how quick this has gone as well. Mashiro leading the way from Hada. Storm is in third. Rain is getting slightly heavier out on track. Lap upon lap, it is beginning to get wetter, I think, but there's still no spray being kicked off. So it's pretty much running on a bone dry track still. Out on track, and Mashiro obviously on those softs is just hammering away the lap times, hammering away on for the win. Do you know what? He could pick, to be honest, and still try and win. I don't bank him on doing that though.
Oh please, yes. Do it. Do it. If he can hear me, I hope he does it.
He can't now because he's coming around the final two corners. But Mashiro's still out in front. He's 4 laps away, or 5 laps away I should say, from being crowned the TTL F1 League 2 Challenge Cup champion here out on track tonight. And another piece of silverware to add to his Drivers' Championship, to add to his Constructors' Championship. It was going to be like Calsper last night until Recon came along with no penalties and absolutely drove his socks off in the final lap of the race. Kieran posted that last lap up for you guys on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at KS McGinley on Twitter, and you can catch that back up. Or you can just go on my profile and see my retweet of that battle between Recon and Calsper. Nothing of the sort tonight, but certainly it's been a very good race.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It really, don't worry. It really has been. Alright, Key has been lapped now quite multiple times.
He's been lapped 4 times out on track.
But definitely, I don't think they're gonna put intermediates.
No, definitely not. They can't, unless it gets visibly heavier within the next 5 minutes. Then...
Come on, James. I mean, do now the prediction so you can say at the end of the race that you predicted, you know, and you can actually add another prediction guessed, you know, to
I think
your
I said
counter.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I said Mashiro, Storm and Key was my top 3. And
Yeah,
look how
and I said Mashiro, Hades and Storm.
And who did you say?
Mashiro, Hades, Storm is what I said.
Oh, so you've got a perfect then. Unless Storm picks up a puncture. 38 lap all mediums. Could pick up a puncture. Conti lasted 44 and he picked up a puncture. It's not out of the question.
That's not gonna happen, I guarantee it. And if it does, I'm gonna go back. I mean, I'm gonna go down to the track and I'm gonna push that car like if my life was on it. Come on, I have a brilliant, you know, prediction. It's not gonna get ruined.
Well, first of all, he's got to try and fly over in the middle of a global pandemic, so that's definitely not going to be likely, and you're not going to be seeing him out on track tonight for sure.
What do you mean? We are on the commentary box, you know. Look. Do you see Conti? He's going through the main straight. We are there in the right, you know, in one of those cabins or whatever. Come on.
Oh, I thought we were doing an ITV racing while they were commentating from a booth earlier on. Mashiro, though, it still leads. I think he's the driver coming down towards Stowe, just off the mini-map. He is coming down towards Stowe, so he's only got 3 laps away. Recon coming in, by the way. I did like that battle last night, for sure. It was a fantastic battle, and full credit to Recon and Calsper out on track last night in TTL F1. Full credit to all of these guys as well here tonight. The rain is getting visibly heavier, though, out on track. You can tell by the rain camera now. I'm on board with Conti, and... do you know what? 6.9 seconds. 6.7. Come on. He's closing in.
Nah, no. I bet my life that he's not gonna get Charlie.
I've just seen
penalties do not count.
Penalties do not count, yeah. And I've just seen as well, Martin and Christine Underwood, crumbs, those biscuit jokes were awful. Glad you like them. Glad you like them. Storm's in! Storm is into the pits!
That's my man. Come on, put intermediates.
But he's gonna lose third, he's gonna lose fourth, fifth, and perhaps sixth.
Doesn't matter, he's gonna win.
He's on Inters.
Yes, get in.
He's on Inters. This is a very bold call. I think it's the wrong call as well. Because that track is not looking like it is kicking off spray. It is still not kicking off spray. Too early. Storm has just ruined himself there, I'm afraid.
No one comprehends his high intellectual coefficient. You know, no one is comprehending his master move, his master strategy.
Well, let's see him lose 0.6 of a second coming through Village and then through into the loop. Let's see how that gap is now. Oh, we say 0.9 seconds. He's just like 8 tenths through a corner. Brilliant.
I cannot believe it. He ruined my prediction. Storm, why? If you're watching the stream later on, why did you do that? I mean,
Well, I'll tell you what, Conti could provide us with some sort of a battle later on in the race. He is beginning to close in on Charlie. It's going to be 2 laps from the end of the race, but still, he is trying his utmost to try and get Charlie for 4th position. He's got Keys spinning out in front of him, and it's put him completely off. Fantastic recovery, actually, from Conti. Put him completely off track. And goodness me, if it wasn't for the Goldstein system, then that would have been a cataclysmic collision between them both. But Charlie's still in 4th, Conti in 5th, and I think that might be Conti's chance, his slim chance of catching Charlie, beginning to fall by the wayside. But Mashiro leads. Toro Rosso 2nd and 3rd as well. Hades and Pariah now going to be picking up 2nd and 3rd. In terms of the position gains, by the way, Mashiro's gained 3, Charlie gained 3, Conti has gained 3. Obviously penalties could still interfere with things, even though they don't count, and even though no points are scored here in the Challenge Cup, it can still count towards something. And Conti is closing in. Still closing in. 4.7 seconds, 4.5 seconds, and Charlie very much struggling. He is nearly, he's going to be broken by the end of this race, perhaps.
I'm speechless. I mean, I would actually talk about the battle that probably will go on the last lap, but I'm speechless. You know, I was hoping, you know, to be a brilliant guy, you know, that can predict the future, but look at that, 17.8, and it's getting bigger. 18.
It's getting bigger. He could be lapped by Mashiro soon. Let's just put it that way. He could be lapped by Mashiro soon. Conti.
Oh, yeah, go on.
2.8 seconds. Mashiro, by the way, is on the final lap of the race. I've just totally forgot about that. 27.2 seconds the gap. But I tell you what, Conti, I'm going to try and go on. I'll go on board with Mashiro now. I don't think that gap's going to close down. There is Mashiro. He's coming through Stowe. It's been a fantastic drive from the Japanese man out on track. And Mashiro is going to be your Challenge Cup winner, providing that he gets through Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, down the Hanger Straight, down through Stowe, down through in towards the Club Chicane, and then through Vale and then into Club. Mashiro has negotiated those corners fine, and now down the Hanger Straight he comes. This is going to be a fantastic win for the Japanese man out on track. I'm seeing on the mini-map Conti visibly getting closer to Charlie. Don't think it's going to be close enough though for that gap to close up, but Mashiro has driven this race to absolute perfection here. The clapping can start now. Mashiro is around the final corner to win the Challenge Cup event. A fantastic win. Continues on his remarkable season, and he has won the race here tonight. Hades is going to finish in 2nd, but Conti 2 seconds away from Charlie. He's closed up by another 0.6 of a second. He is really wanting this. He needs to gain on Charlie. Charlie needs to pick up some sort of mistake to let Conti back into play here. It's 1.8 seconds the gap. Another lap or two, then I think he would get in, to be honest. It's like Dill Warren back in Germany on a set of intermediates in TTL F1 League 1. Haddad, by the way, came across the line to finish in second. Pariah will finish in third. But Charlie and Conti, in the meantime, fourth and fifth. Storm, by the way, did not get lapped, I do believe, by thingy. No. Oh, and Conti's run out of fuel! Or has he? No, he hasn't. What happened there? What on earth happened there with Conti? Did he go down into neutral? That was very strange.
Heart attack.
Goodness me, Charlie across the line in fourth, and Conti, he's going to do donuts.
Yes.
He did it last week in Brazil as well. He only did one in Brazil. We're going to get a bit of a show here. But he's got to be careful. He's got to be careful though, because Storm is only coming down through Stowe now.
No, he can continue. He can continue. Oh, and we
there's
have
Key doing
with donuts.
Yeah, there's Key doing some donuts as well.
Continue.
Storm.
Continue doing donuts.
Conti. Can he get the car going? He's run out of fuel. He's run out of fuel. Storm. Round the final corner. He's going to win it.
Smash
Conti. Yeah, he does it. Conti across the line in fifth. But massive amount of penalty. And Storm actually leaves the session. Right at the end of the race. Storm leaves the session. He finished sixth anyways. And Key, we're waiting on. Oh, he's been disqualified.
Wow, amazing.
Being parked in a dangerous location. And he got a left puncture as well. Well, Key's been disqualified and doesn't finish. That's the great end to TTL F1 League 2. But Mashiro takes another dominant win. And the Japanese man, well, is there any stopping him going forward onto F1 2020?
Oof. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see, but it is Mashiro for now who takes the Challenge Cup event. A fantastic win from the Japanese man, and arguably he's been the most consistent driver all season. It has been fantastic to be a part of TTL F1 League 2. It's been fantastic to see such a dominance in the championship as well. Yeah. And Mashiro takes his second consecutive Challenge Cup event and adds another piece to the silverware. And there is the final running of the order. Mashiro taking the win from Hades in second, Pariah finishing in third, Charlie in fourth, Conti in fifth, Storm in the end finishing in sixth. He had the same amount of penalties as Conti. Pariah, by the way, 52 laps and no penalties. Well done. Well done. Yeah. Jeffrey finishing with a DNF, Maximus with a DNF as well. Key out and getting disqualified, and Passelt got disqualified without even setting a lap.
Actually, yeah. I mean, it was unfortunate for him, but yeah. I have to say, I have to say that to have it, like, there were only 10 drivers for most part of the race. There were only 8, but it was a decent race. I mean, there were some parts that maybe it was boring, but the thing between the rain, you know, and other drivers trying alternative strategy, it was actually quite decent. I would give it, I don't know what mark you will give to the race, but I'll give it a 7.
I was planning on giving it a 7, to be honest. I think the race certainly lived up to expectations. We had a very good first half of the race. Then we had a bit of a, let's just say, a stale second half of the race. But obviously we changed into the intermediate conditions, but hardly anybody went on the inters, rightfully so, because it was still dry out on track. And fantastic to see some great driving out on track. And Storm just coming in with a comment there. He had a puncture just before the pit lane, so he had to risk it. Bring on the F1 2020 game, he says. And he has been getting first-hand experience because he has got the beta for F1 2020. So, actually, I wonder if he could tell us what it's like. If you could put it in the comment section what it's like. Be interesting. It'll be very good knowledge for us going forward. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, probably it's you know, I've actually had the chance to test it, and it's, let's say that the traction, you know, it's more, well, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything new because we've heard it through YouTubers, you know, and all that, but actually the traction is more difficult. The AB, like, if you run no ABS, it's a bit more, not that different, but definitely you can lock up a bit more. But overall, I think it's better game than this one, in my feelings. But let's see if Storm can actually give us his feedback.
It'd be fantastic to receive feedback as well, because obviously, if I was to set up a league, I would base it off the base feedback that people were giving me. And I think that's what that's what we could try and do here. Obviously, provide the feedback here and see what it's like, and then take on board those comments and then see what we make of it, and then see if it's going to be successful or not for TTML next season. And I'll come on to TTML in just a second. New world with the ERS going to be very interesting trying to manage it in the race. There we go, there's his opinion.
Oh,
and unfortunately, spectators will not be able to see tyre wear at present either, he says.
Oof,
What? Rubbish.
Yeah, to be honest it is.
But hopefully we will be able to see some of the visible signs. Obviously, the tyre degradation and the blistering of the tyres, hopefully they're still prevalent within the game, so we can try and hang on to that. But thank you very much, Storm, I think, for that feedback. We have still got action coming up for you in the next few weeks until the new game is released, and I will get up the calendars for both the Custom Sprint Cup and the Classic Series as well. So the Custom Sprint Cup, I think, is it going to be the first one? I forgot what days these are on. It is going to be the Classic Series first, however, sorry. So the Classic Series is going to be up first. So that is the 2010 cars, the McLaren, the Ferrari and the Red Bull. It's going to be myself, Aidan Carter, taking you through 4 races with 4 weeks until the game is released. Australia, Spain, Canada and Belgium are the tracks. One-shot qualifying 25% race for 2 races per weekend. So, essentially, it's 8 races within the Classic Series, 2 a night, over 4 weeks. Fantastic stuff. I cannot wait for the Classic Series. I think it's going to be one of those things really grab home about. I nearly beat Kieran's lap time of a 1:30 flat, if he's listening in on this stream later on. So I'll try and outdo him later on that. But we have still got the Custom Sprint Cup to come as well on a Thursday night. Nothing I don't think is going to be happening on a Friday. It's going to be Kieran McGinley and myself taking you through the Custom Sprint Championship. Austria, Germany, Italy and Belgium. One-shot qualifying 25%. So again, 2 races out on track. I've just noticed I've been called J, Ames Head in the graphic for the Custom Sprint Cup on the top. Fantastic. I've just noticed that. But still, I think it's good. I'm like the Irish commentator now. No, it's an apostrophe it needs. So it'll be James Head. James. But yeah, the Custom Sprint Championship is going to be coming up on Thursday night as well. And then Friday nights are free, which means you will not see any action. But further ahead, we're going to be having CRC for you tomorrow night. It is going to be myself and Ash Richardson taking you through the first race of the season for the LMP3s. I will get up the calendar now just to confirm where we are at. If I'm not mistaken, it is at the Daytona Road Circuit, I do believe. I'll just check the schedule for this. Yeah, it is the Daytona... I can't even get my words out. I've been speaking for so long, I can't even get my words out. Daytona Road Circuit, 6th of June, which is of course tomorrow, and then we're off to the Algarve and then Barcelona for the first wet race of the season. So, myself and Ash are going to be taking you through that. It's 8 o'clock, so make sure you tuned in for that for CRC. And then of course we've got the IndyCar series as well, starting in CRC on the 14th of June, which is a Sunday. I think it's the first time we might have ever streamed on TTTV on a Sunday, which is fantastic. And Road America is going to be the first track for the IndyCars, and it's going to be the Zebra, I think, taking you through that one. The Zebra 94 will be taking you through the IndyCar series for next Sunday, and he's going to work on some nice fancy graphics as well, which I'm sure will be partaken by everyone that views in for the IndyCar series. But it's been a pleasure commentating alongside you, Paco, and on that note, TTL F1 League 2 over and done with. what has been your highlight of the season?
First of all, I hope I could actually say the same. But nah, I'm joking. It has been a pleasure as well. But about this season, the highlight, I mean, it's quite difficult, you know, to highlight just an action. I think overall it has been a good season with good races, but probably one of that I've enjoyed the most. It was at the beginning. I think it was Bahrain. No, was it Bahrain? I'm actually quite, you know, I have a messy memory, but I know it was one of the first races that I was actually surprised because the action, it was action packed, you know, we had plenty of overtakes and definitely I think it was one of the best races I've ever seen. I cannot remember the track and I'm really like, I'm really sorry about that. Tell me.
I think you were right actually, it was Bahrain because I remember we had a great battle, I think it was between Pariah and Billy if I'm not mistaken, in Bahrain, where they were going at it for about 4 or 5 laps and then there was a little bit of contact. But yeah, Bahrain I think ultimately was one of the races of the season. But I think as we've progressed through, I have to agree that I think the standards of driving certainly got better within the middle of the season and then fell off towards the end, which is it's a shame. Well, I have to say that, but that's my honest opinion. I think the standards of driving could have been overall a little bit better, but still, Bahrain, I agree. Fantastic race. We had some great battling. We had a fantastic race in Bahrain, and I think the Challenge Cup has really ended us off on a very much of a high note. And well done to Mashiro, well done to McLaren on winning the drivers and the constructors, and well done to Mashiro again for winning the Challenge Cup tonight. But for myself and Paco Suarez, unless he has anything else to say.
No, not really.
Not really. We shall end the stream here then. So tune in for CRC tomorrow. As I say, the Custom Sprint Championship is coming up on Thursdays, and then we've got the Classic Series on Tuesdays, which I cannot wait to commentate you guys over. Can't wait to commentate over a bit of V8 horsepower action for the 2010 cars, for the Ferrari, McLaren and the Red Bulls. But I hope you have really enjoyed us being your commentators for the season. My name is James Head, he's been Paco Suarez. Please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching for TTL F2 tonight and indeed this season. And until next time, goodbye.
Hasta luego.
Adios.